The Best Cat in the World, written by Leslea Newman, illustrated by Ronald Himler. When Charlie was a kitten, he had orange fur the color of Halloween pumpkin and big green eyes that looked like two lucky marbles to keep in your pocket. But now Charlie was old. His orange fur was full of white patches and gray clouds floated across his eyes. Charlie used to play with his favorite toy, a ball of red yarn tied to a stick all the time. But now Charlie was too tired to play. Mostly he just napped on my bed. At night, he slept on a special pillow right next to mine. "Who's the best cat in the world?" I asked him after my mom turned off the lights. Charlie purred a rumbling reply. One day, Charlie didn't get up at all, not even for his supper. We took him to the vet, but there was nothing she could do. "I can't make Charlie young again," Dr. Levin said as she stroked Charlie's head. "I'm sorry, Victor." A few days later, Charlie died. I cried and cried for 2 whole days. Mom didn't even make me go to school. We buried Charlie in the backyard and planted a rose bush for him with green leaves and orange flowers. Everyone was nice to me when Charlie died. Charlie's vet sent me a special card with a picture of an orange cat on it. Mom made my favorite supper, macaroni and cheese, 3 nights in a row. But every time I tried to eat it, I just cried. My teacher put a picture of Charlie up on the bulletin board at school, and all the kids drew pictures of him. But I was still sad. I sat in front of Charlie's rose bush after school and tried to talk to him. "Who's the best cat in the world?" I asked. Then I listened as hard as I could, but there was no reply. One day, Mom came outside and sat next to me at Charlie's rose bush. "You miss Charlie a lot, don't you, Victor?" she asked. My words got stuck all in my throat, so I just nodded. "Maybe it's time for us to get a new cat," Mom said. Charlie's rose bush grew all blurry. "I don't want a new cat," I said, wiping my wet cheeks. "I want Charlie." A few weeks later, Dr. Levin called. "Victor, I have a big problem," she said. "Someone brought me a brand new kitten, and I need a very special home to find right away," she said. "Do you know anyone who loves cats?" "I love cats." "Perfect," Dr. Levin said. "Would you like to come meet this kitty?" "I don't know," I said to Mom. "Maybe Charlie would get mad if I brought another cat here." "Maybe," Mom said. "Or maybe he'd be happy that we're giving another cat such a good home." "But what if I don't like her?" I asked, putting on my jacket. "Or maybe she won't like me." "Let's meet her first, before you make up your mind." Mom picked up the car keys and we went out the door. When we got to Dr. Levin's office, she showed us the kitten. Her fur was all different colors, brown and gray, red and black and white, and her eyes, the color of 2 perfectly toasted marshmallows, a beautiful golden brown. "She's a tortoiseshell kitten, so we named her Shelly," Dr. Levin said, handing her to me. "Hi, Shelly," I said. I tried to drape her over my back the way I used to hold Charlie, but Shelly didn't like that. She snuggled into my neck and licked my chin. "I think Shelly wants to come home with us," Mom said. Dr. Levin agreed. "What do you think, Victor?" I held Shelly up to get a better look at her, and she tapped her paw against my cheek. "Yes," I said. "I think so too." When we got home, I gave Shelly some food in a brand new bowl and knelt down to scratch her between the ears while she ate. She hissed and ducked her head away. "Some cats don't like to be touched when they eat," Mom said. "Charlie did," I reminded her. "I know," Mom said, "but that's not Charlie." After Shelly ate, I tried to play with her. She wanted to take a nap. She slept on the couch in the living room instead of on my bed like Charlie always did. At supper time, Charlie always sat under my chair and waited for me to drop table scraps when Mom wasn't looking. "Psst, Shelly," I whispered when Mom got up to get a spoon. "Here's a piece of chicken." But Shelly didn't want to sit under my chair and she wasn't interested in chicken. She curled up by the stove where it was nice and warm and cleaned herself all the way to the tip of her tail. At bedtime, I put Shelly on a special pillow right next to mine, but she jumped down before Mom even turned out the lights and leaped up on the windowsill where she slept all night long. The next morning, I didn't wake up until 7:30 because Charlie used to wake me up exactly 10 after 7 by poking his cold, wet nose into my hand. Mom used to say, "You could set your clock by Charlie." I went over by the windowsill where Shelly was still sleeping. "You're supposed to wake me up," I told her. But she just yawned and stretched her paws. When I went into the bathroom to brush my teeth, Shelly leaped up on the sink and tried to catch drops of water with the faucet with her tongue. Charlie never did that. When I got dressed, Shelly grabbed my shoelaces with her paws and tried to bite them. Charlie never did that either. Before I left for school, I picked Shelly up to say goodbye. She snuggled into my neck and licked my chin, just like she did at the vet's office. When I got home from school, Shelly was sleeping on the couch. I started to pet her, and she rolled over so I could rub her belly. It was soft and warm. Charlie never let me touch his belly. I went into the kitchen for a snack, and then I got out Charlie's favorite toy to see if Shelly wanted to play with it. I twirled the yarn in the air, and Shelly jumped up and caught it like Charlie used to. But she didn't pull it away and hold it over her head. She dragged it by the stick, and she rolled on her back, held it with all 4 paws, and started chewing it. I wondered why Charlie never did that. At supper time, Shelly sat in the middle of the kitchen and watched us eat. Then she started chasing her tail. She ran round and round in circles, and Mom and I laughed. "Charlie never used to chase his tail," I said. "I know," Mom said, "but that's not Charlie." When it was time for bed, Shelly jumped up on the windowsill. There were lots of stars in the sky, and the moon was shining on Charlie's rose bush. "Who's the best cat in the world?" I asked Shelly. She looked up at me, blinked her eyes twice, and purred a rumbling reply. And that is The Best Cat in the World by Leslea Newman and illustrated by Ronald Himler.